Welcome back to the channel. It's time for War 8 of the season. For Loki, we are climbing back into Masters, which feels good. 5 awesome fights, lots to learn in each of them, and one big thing to learn in the last one on Mini Boss Island. All right, we on this first one, I think it was lane 6, if I remember correctly. We're going up against Quake, and there is the power alternator, which we learned in the last war is bugged right now. Big picture, I'm really not that worried about it. Of course, I don't want to accidentally maybe send her green or red, but I'm not going to be using my specials. And this is Archangel here, so just going to get a couple bleeds on here. We've already landed 2, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I'm going to try to get another poison if can. We got really lucky there. We've already got 2 on. Really, at this point, I'm not even sure I need to damage her again, but I think we are going to go in for one more here just to make sure. And then at this point, it was, yeah, you know, game over. I guess there was a small chance if she stuns me there, which she did with that. But again, really not that worried because she was going to get stunned from the neuros going down. Could have played that a little bit better, but wasn't really concerned about it or sweating it either. He's amazing. He's awesome. I can't say enough great things about having him. So moving on to this next fight with the EMP modification, Burden of Might. This was on the weekend, and I don't recall exactly what I was doing, but I was doing something with my family, and I saw in the BG chat that they were like, well, if Vega's not available, someone else could take it. I was like, no, don't you give away my fights. So I did rush into this a little bit, and although I can tell a little overconfidence is setting in, and you're definitely going to see that in the next fight, the mistake I make, I still was aware enough, and this is a sign of me, I think, just getting a little bit better as a player. I was aware enough that I'm like, don't do anything silly. Like if this fight takes a while because I didn't figure out the most efficient way to take it, fine. But don't do anything silly here. Don't get frustrated. Don't rush it. Rather have this fight take 5 minutes of me just parry slapping and get it down than make a mistake and have Spark or Stealthy here. Somehow do something, you know, with that evade of his. And he can put out really good damage. You know, just don't take any chances. So I'm really just going to be sticking here with the parry and then the heavy. I think at some point I do decide to maybe do a medium there and then take advantage of the passive stun. Or maybe that was after the fight. I was like, you know what, I really should have done that instead. So there's just going to be kind of a lot of this over and over. And the only reason I'm not speeding it up is I did want to talk about that a little bit. You know, a lot of you have commented I've really improved a lot as a player since moving over to 4 Loki a couple seasons ago, and I appreciate it. But I also do think it is true. And one of the things I can tell that's happening is I'm not rushing as much anymore. I'm not rushing a fight. You know, there was a time here where I would have tried to rush this because I wanted to get back to my family and would have tried to get the fight done in 1 minute. And that's just never going to end well, or it's very rarely going to end well. Take your time, you know, have your plan, and it is a lot quicker to take the fight and have the fight last 3 minutes than it is to die because you tried to do it in 1 minute, and then you got to revive and do it again, and then, you know, it doesn't feel good either. So as you can see here, I think I did trigger his evade once, so I was starting to realize like I don't need to just sit there and parry slap, but it's working well. So what do I care? His evade, his passive evade is down. So I did go ahead and throw my SP1, and yeah, I think we're just going to get him down here. Probably with one more slap after this. The SP1's not really doing that great of damage, but I think okay, so maybe one more slap and then he will be down, especially if it crits. His SP1 is much easier to evade for me, at least, than his SP2. It doesn't scare me like the SP2 could. And he's down. So we move on to the next fight where I really made a mistake. And oh no, sorry. It's the fight after this one. This was another just nice, kind of simple Archangel fight. Another just example of what this guy can do. Because he's a mutant, I don't need to worry about him placing a bleed on Elsa. I think, you know, that was a tactic for a while where folks would place her with the Suicide Masteries. I am trying to get the second poison up before I go ahead and heavy again. But I could see, I had already decided I was going to throw the heavy because I could see the bleed was about to expire and I wanted to take advantage of it. We've got the 3 neuros up. If I can just let them kill her, I will. Decide to go ahead and throw her to her SP1, but I'm just going to block it. Nothing really to worry about. Those were not overly difficult Archangel fights. You know, he can take much more complex fights than that. We've taken them this season. So go ahead and check those out or ask some questions about it if you have them. And then moving on to this explosive personality juggernaut fight. This is the one that I think really shows that I had a little bit of overconfidence setting in, because this fight should not be tough. This fight should not be tough. And for what you're going to see, it was not tough. Just going to wait out this first unstoppable here. And from that point on, this fight's really mine. I am trying to do what I can to get the staggers up, so that way he does not go unstoppable, so we don't just really even need to worry about it. And we're going fine here. And this is where they're con set in. I even saw that the shock had fallen off. And yet for some reason, and I made this mistake the last war too, I still went in for the heavy there, which obviously is not going to work with the shock having fallen off. Again, part of why I love Doom though is he's just so tanky. And so just going in for the medium, light, medium. And then this fight will be over, and we'll get to the last one on Mini Boss Island, where I really do think there's something to learn. I don't think many of you would make this mistake, but if you did, it's important that you see it so you don't, and so we can talk to kind of how to play it in case you do end up making that mistake, or just in general on this node. So moving into, here's what I want to point out, is this is the abilities list for Human Torch, and it very clearly states under Nova Flames, Nova Flame passives are treated as incinerate debuffs for all of Human Torch's abilities. Now, I've never had reason to read that specifically and really just like sear it into my mind. And so I know that I've been walking around or whatever thinking that his Nova Flames are treated as incinerate debuffs, period. I didn't really recognize it was just for his abilities. This will come into play in just a second here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Polkadot Power node with Stunning Reflection, right? I've placed my pre-fight ability. Make sure you back out and then come back in to make sure that pre-fight's there. I just had someone on the Discord server, unfortunately, placed the pre-fight and then it didn't stick. Go ahead and back out, come back in. Now here's the other thing is, so this has the Stunning Reflection, meaning that if the defender has the Incinerate on them, the shield will go down. So every time a stun is attempted, the attacker is stunned instead of for 3 seconds. But the shield will go into a cooldown for 8 seconds if the defender is inflicted with a poison or an incinerate. I thought the Nova Flame would count as that. Watch what happens. I mean, it's very clear in the written. I'm not blaming Kabam on this. It is very clear that it counts as incinerate for Human Torch's abilities, not in general. Fortunately, I've never taken this node before. I did use invulnerability boost. I think I still would have been fine, but watch what happens here. So a nice little intercept. I've never taken this node before, so I even kind of forgot. And I thought as soon as I got the Nova Flame on him, I'd be able to stun. Clearly that was not right. I was a little worried about that SP1. It caught me. And then I tried to stun again because I thought, oh no, I just messed up the node. I have to wait for the timer to go off. No, not correct. Fortunately, I had done my duels and I realized I just need to now play him stun immune. I'll figure out what's wrong later. I already kind of had an idea of what was going on. You see, I am baiting. I'm trying not to let him throw the SP1, but he'd already triggered his judgment of unblockable. So I was going to be fine. The SP1 was not going to go unblockable. Let the Nova Flames do their job and took him down. So basically what I'm saying is don't do what I did. Don't think the Nova Flames counters incinerates because they don't. And then if you need to, just play it stun immune. Punish his heavies. There's not a lot of room to it, so do your duels. I went in and did that a couple times and I was late. And I learned that his heavy doesn't take up that much distance. So go in, do your one dash back and then just go in and take care of him. So, Human Torch is a great option for that fight, what could otherwise be tricky. So far the season's going incredibly. For Loki, we did end up winning that war, which feels good. I believe we're now solidly in Masters, which is great as we head into War 9. I wasn't able to get a photo of the MVPs for this one, unfortunately. But this is what I have, and so it feels good. I know I'm having a very good season, very happy with my season. I have 44 solos and 1 death, so I guess that's 45 fights there. 44 and 1, that feels good, with 1 boss kill in the very first war of the season. and I'm looking forward to the next one. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the comment section with any questions or comments, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at Vega Gaming 583. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.